again, Ref. Hey guys, Ref here is a war cry, war cry at this point. Yeah, we'll get into this one, and I'll probably have enough. We'll back to more with The Legend of Zelda, probably.
Hey, what's up guys, Ref here. So today we're going to be once again talking
Need to
about
finish
the
my Wind Waker
slow-moving
run.
car crash that is Ubisoft. The year
Of course, it's
2024 has been
Ubisoft.
very rough for the company. They've had
Hello,
several
Doc
major
Slothington. How are you?
flops like Skull and Bones and Star Wars Outlaws. However, they have one hope left for 2024, and that's Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game that they ensured their very worried investors will succeed.
Yeah, I am watching things that, like, I probably need to cleanse my eyes of this. I hope they do. I hope that Ubisoft does go bankrupt. It'll be a great sign to, like, to the, like, Western devs to say no to DI, no to Bridge.
Because it's well received by gamers, and of course, we saw
because at the end of the day, DEI is just Bridge, but nobody really talks about Bridge aside from Akishe. And that's a whole another rabbit hole. This goes way deeper than DEI.
About a week ago, and here is the positive response from gamers. A major dislike ratio on the video, 20,000 likes versus nearly 100,000.
I think last time it was around like 80k. And now it's around 100k. That is wild.
And also note that this trailer
that is huge.
Doesn't even have 1 million views in a week, which is very low for an Assassin's Creed World trailer. Now,
it's kind of insane,
really
like,
bad, right? There's already a lot of existing
Assassin's Creed ended up in that.
And this product.
Like,
how could they make it worse? Well, enter Sweet Baby Inc. Because of course.
I hate these motherfuckers. They are everywhere. They are literally everywhere. Like, their shit is literally everywhere. Literally.
Sweet Baby would get involved in the situation.
These dudes are everywhere.
So we have this article right here from that place titled Japanese Consultant Used by Ubisoft and the New York Times to Attack Gamers Over Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So, for those who do not know what Sweet Baby Inc. is, it's essentially a consultant, like, company that, like, focuses on, like, diversity and stuff. And basically what they do is they push diversity into games, which obviously then, because it's forced, then it ruins the games. The problem is that the CEO of the company completely admits to this. They literally said that other companies who do the same should scare like the people that they are consulting into basically giving them what they want. This is, like, absolutely insane. There's another one that's called Gamer X, like gay people, and like they did the same with Pokemon Go, which is why we got the weird looking avatars.
Was a Sweet Baby Inc. employee. It always comes back to Sweet Baby. So, a few days ago, we talked about this article. They referenced...
And the funny part is, at this point, Sweet Baby Inc. is such a red flag that even former employees of Sweet Baby Inc. cannot find a job. It is that bad.
The fight over a black samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows made by the New York Times and written by Zach.
And I feel like
Small.
because of the lighting
now,
in here, my model is
some very, let's say, suspect
weird
sources to back up their claims, beginning with a citation of the historian Yu Hirayama, who has been completely debunked and mocked by their peers.
Yeah, because he's actually a communist.
Baseless claims that Yasuke is a samurai. This is also someone who is a member of the Japanese Communist Party and subscribes to
Marxist... and the Japanese Communist Party is also pushing DEI and gender ideology in Japan. And they have been fairly successful in the educational system.
Historiography, which essentially says that you don't need to use empirical evidence in your historical claims and analysis, which is absolutely crazy. But also in that article, Small would reference a consultant named Kazuma Hashimoto. Now, people have been digging into this person and they've been finding out some very interesting things. So number one, it was Hashimoto who claimed in the article that it was people in the West who were upset with seeing Yasuke as a samurai, and also added that many of the negative online comments written in Japanese.
I'm guessing it's east for you. Well, for me it's west, so I'm suffering and waiting for my text to appear. I mean, I don't quite understand. You mean like they are? Do you mean your message? They are everywhere, like roaches? True, because they are. I am not going to buy Assassin's Creed Shadows. My problem with Assassin's Creed now is a bit deeper, because I enjoyed like the stealth stuff, like being an assassin, and ever since Origins, that hasn't really been the case. Like I played Mirage. I think that's much more closer to what I like. Because like I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and Black Flag. Those are really great. I like 3. Don't really like the theme of 3, but I still like it. Like the first one is also good, but like I haven't bought a open world Assassin's Creed. I don't like it. They turned Assassin's Creed into just a generic open world RPG, and like I don't like it. And like Mirage sold also fairly well, so I'm like
Japanese appear to be roughly translated.
And like the funny
from
part
English,
is that
essentially saying this is a
all those like new Assassin's Creed games, they're all like reduced price. And the funny part is like Mirage isn't, Black Flag isn't, like it's still full price. And that clearly tells that nobody is buying these games.
false flag initiative where people in the West are the only ones upset about this game, and they're impersonating Japanese users and basically making the game look bad in Japan in terms of its response.
Which they have.
Which is a very...
They have no proof for that. They say that, but they have no proof of that. Not like that doesn't happen. Under some circumstances that does happen. I don't think like this applies here. Because like the Japanese trailer has a even worse dislike ratio on Japanese YouTube than on like Western YouTube.
Very bold claim to make, by the way. And also in terms of suspicious behavior, a lot of people, you can check out other videos on this from other YouTubers, but there's been a lot of claims that there's botting going on with comments on YouTube and Twitter in favor of Ubisoft clearly being manufactured. They're copy and paste type responses, and also some random positive comments about Ubisoft or this game getting a massive influx of likes seemingly out of thin air. And a lot of people are questioning, well, is this Ubisoft doing...
Is this Ubisoft botting? I mean, there is a chance that they do. This wouldn't be the first time that a major company is caught botting
this, or is it someone doing it on Ubisoft's behalf, like some activists trying to hype up this game? Who knows, but at the end of the day, it is to the benefit of Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. But you don't have to get that deep into this conversation, especially the claim that it's only people in the West who are upset about this game and Yasuke being portrayed as a samurai.
This is just part of a bigger problem, and I'm gonna say it right now. Gatekeep your hobbies, or they end up like this. They will end up like Star Wars, they will end up like Assassin's Creed, they will end up like The Lord of the Rings. It's funny how Harry Potter has survived so long, and I think that is mostly thanks to J.K. Rowling. You may think of her what you will, but man, is she gatekeeping that franchise? Just by existing, she's gatekeeping that franchise.
Well, because you can look around and just see that we have major outrage from Japanese gamers. We have a petition with like 100,000 signatures trying to get this game shut down from the Japanese side of social
Japan.
media. You also have Japanese politicians and members of their government who are looking into the historical inaccuracies of this game. On top of that, pretty much every single release on the Japanese side of YouTube involving this franchise and this game is getting dislike bombed into oblivion. And I talked about the world trailer on the Japanese side of YouTube for this game in one of my previous videos, but I feel like I didn't do a good job really hammering home just how bad things were.
True, true. That is also true. Um, though that is also more linked to culture than actually like xenophobia, because we have to consider something. Japan still lives with very old rules. For example, in Japan, lighter skin is seen as more pretty, more what is it called? Even like is associated with wealth, and like darker skin is like associated with like hard work outside in the field. It's like a whole. It's like I find it weird, to be honest, but like it's culturally different. There are certainly some problems with that. I disagree with that concept, but it also has to do with culture. Just like China. Like, the people were complaining about that there are no black, like, dark-skinned characters in Genshin Impact. Brother, this is a Chinese game by a Chinese company in China. You will not see that. That will not happen. Or like the people that get queer-baited for like the Hoyoverse games. They will not put gay characters into that game. They just make these characters as marketable as possible. It's like... We are culturally different. That is just the harsh truth. And these things, they come from culture.
So here is...
Now, is that good? Not necessarily. Can you do much against it as a Westerner? Nope. Well, you could force them to. You could force them, like, if you don't buy the games and don't like, what is the term? And like, don't consume the media, then you could force them. But like, most people don't care. That's the harsh truth.
The official world trailer released on Ubisoft Japan. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is the like-dislike ratio.
What the actual fuck? So 306 likes versus 9.8k dislikes. Okay.
100 likes.
The Japanese have
dislikes.
A big problem with this.
Around a 3% like ratio, or on the flip side, a 97%
the Japanese do not like this
dislike ratio. This is even stronger, or really a lot stronger, than the amount of dislikes on the Western version of this trailer.
Yeah, that is.
And yeah, I don't know what qualifies a video for that list of the most disliked videos in YouTube history. I don't know if there's like a certain number of dislikes it needs to have, or a certain number of views on the video. But this is one of the worst dislike ratios, not just in gaming, but on YouTube I've ever seen. Like, this is impressively bad, okay? And looking at the hype again, they can't even break 100,000 views in 7 days on a trailer that's based on...
AAA gaming is in shambles. AAA gaming is in absolute shambles. Wow. If an Assassin's Creed cannot produce any numbers, that is terrible. That is
in the country where the game is set. It's absolutely insane. And
yeah, I know they have like Afro Samurai. I think Niho, which was produced by Westerners, I think, but still had Yasuke as like a DLC character, I think. Nobody complained about that. So it's like... And there are like a lot of darker skinned characters, like SAO has a a black man. There are certainly black characters in anime. And like nobody's really complaining about that. Now I have seen some complaints in China from China for Genshin Impact. Like that was wild. There were some things have been said.
Also, I know the usual sycophants on Twitter will be saying, "Oh, well, those dislike extensions on different browsers are not very accurate." Well, I can speak as a YouTuber.
This whole problem with Yasuke boils down to he is not a pick because he was the best possible pick for a main character. He was a pick for a main character because of an ideology. Nobody would have complained if like Yasuke was a side character or like a side quest. Nobody would have complained. Could it? Because it could have been like more. The problem is also with Ubisoft. They claim to have historically accurate characters. You can have the best of both worlds. You need to pick. Either you go full fiction or you don't. And keep it mostly accurate. Mostly. Yasuke is not a character that they picked because they wanted to like represent. They picked Yasuke because of funding and because of like pushing an agenda.
Who can compare the ratios that are presented with these extensions on my videos versus the actual analytics I have on my YouTube page that I can see, and I think they are very accurate extensions. And on top of that, just look at the number of likes. That's still publicly visible. Do you think a video with 300 likes on a official world trailer is...
And I'll be real. They want a black character in Assassin's Creed? Make an Assassin's Creed based on Africa. Make an Assassin's Creed based on African history. For example, make an Assassin's Creed during like a slave trade. And take an African man or take an African man from an African like historical era. Nobody would complain about that. Because it makes sense.
Well received. The amount of dislikes really makes sense. 300 likes on a world trailer on Ubisoft Japan? That's insanely bad. But of course, to further disprove these claims that, only the West is upset about this, ironically, you have a Japanese YouTuber here sharing some information about Hashimoto. So they say, I was informed by everyone about the case of Hashimoto Kazuma, who wrote in the New York Times that Assassin's Creed Shadows was well received in Japan and that the criticism in Japanese was translated from English. And they point out that this person, in their own records here, state that they are a journalist, a narrative designer, and also they work as a cultural consultant for AAA developers such as Ubisoft.
This screams red flag. Also, stay away from Platinum Games. Thank you. I mean, Square Enix is already poisoned. Yeah, nobody had a problem with that. Nobody. And I feel like they are creating their own... They are literally creating their own downfall with this. And it's like sad. Ubisoft had good games. Ubisoft did a lot for like gaming. And I have a lot great memories with like games from Ubisoft. Prince of Persia, the new one. That's a good game. Prince of Persia, that's a good game. The old Prince of Persia games, they were good. You have your Ubisoft mascot laying around. What they are not doing anything with Rayman. For some odd reason. It's just weird.
And on top
they have
of
like
that,
all these options and they
profile,
choose to push this.
Proudly displayed among their resume is the fact that they are a freelance narrative design consultant for Sweet Baby, and they provided consultation on various AAA titles under Sweet Baby, including unannounced work with Ubisoft. So basically, this was the worst thing they could have done, right? They bring in a person from Sweet Baby to defend them.
They just don't learn. They just do not learn. And then you have these Sweet Baby people there. and they just keep them. They do not learn. Yeah, I love Prince of Persia as well. I had huge fun with the Warrior Within trilogy. I know Warrior Within, like the second game, was a bit edgy, like rock music and like all that stuff. It was a bit edgy, but I love that game. I played that game so much.
Themselves. Right now, Ubisoft's reputation couldn't get any worse, but then they brought in someone from Sweet Baby. It's like the perfect storm of unlikable companies right now, and I cannot believe they thought this was good optics. I mean, maybe they just assumed nobody would look.
And you can say what you want, but Sony will receive the same punishment. They release a game that funnily enough is about anti-capital. Think about it. A game about anti-capitalism by a company that needs money to even exist. By a super successful gaming company. Think about it. Like, do you not see the hypocrisy?
Into this, but at this
like
point,
eat
they should know better,
the rich type of
people are
game.
looking for any mistake Ubisoft is
that game
making.
will also fail.
On top of that, we see in the article even
and like together with Concord, Sony has lost a whopping $400 million. Imagine what good you could have done with that kind of money. Just imagine the possibilities.
Small admits that there's some issues with
like the company costed $200 million. The game in production costed $200 million, so they made a absolute failed investment.
Historical and
that next game is going to fail as well, and
including
it
the
is
presence
deserved.
of Chinese architecture and period inappropriate flags in the background of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that is something that is explored in this video. I want to highly recommend you watching this video because this is hilarious. It is called Drunk Japanese Hyper-Analyze Assassin's Creed Shadows Duo Trailer. So you have two Japanese users looking through the trailer and spotting all the inaccuracies, whether it has to do with the geography,
I am
culture,
interested in what they have seen.
And they basically can't even go 5 seconds without having to pause and point something out. It is crazy. And I just want to play
that would be interesting to react to.
It really hammers home just
that could
how
be
little
interesting to react to, honestly.
Ubisoft did on Japanese culture.
The art of combat.
Yasuke is our first historical protagonist in Assassin's Creed. What we know about Yasuke historically is just a bit, but it was enough to get the team really excited about the opportunity to work with him as a character.
Because he was black.
His way out of anything, but he's also super smart and can think his way through things equally as well. And
if Yasuke is so...
Hello, Dragonula. How are you doing? There could be a balance, sure. I am not saying that diversity is bad. It's just how they do diversity. Because they don't do it because they feel like they can provide something for the people that are marginalized. They do it because it gives them funding. They don't do it good over their hearts. And the problem is the character. Yeah, good writing. The problem is the characters that they put in. They are not written well. They are just there to get the brownie points and then move on. That's just like, and as long as they behave this way, go woke, go broke is the only option. Just don't buy the games. Like, there are indie developers that do more for diversity than these AAA companies. Like, there's an entire game, like a Pokemon-esque game that is entirely based on Native Americans. I'm super interested when that releases.
So damn smart. Why is he writing at the end of the scroll like this?
っていうか向き違うよね。
You do not write this way on the scrolls like this, bro.
次の漢字書けねえじゃん。
You write from here down, and then you work your way to the left towards the roll.
Yeah.
This
I might put this into my reaction list just for shits and giggles. Just for shits and giggles.
This is the beginning. Okay, is this the only kanji he wanted to write for this entire scroll?
でもし前
There's like an entire monster taming direct out there. There's like a community that like makes monster taming games for the monster taming genre. There's a bunch of interesting stuff. And like basically what that game does is it takes like Native American spirits and like puts them in a Pokemon-esque situation with like Native American characters. And like I saw that and I was like, that's pretty cool. No politics, no anything else, just Native Americans in a Pokemon-esque theme. It's not going to release for a while. It's still very early, but like I'm interested.
前に書いてあるんだったら、炭が乾く前だ
I
か
should really,
ら
I should really just for shits and giggles.
全部真っ黒でベチャーって
Yeah.
こんなくるくるしてたら
If he had written anything prior to this inside this roll, it would have been soaked with the ink because it doesn't dry up that quickly.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, Yasuke is a genius, guys. This dude is so smart. What does it say?
勇気ブレイブ
Of course, Ubi.
True. I mean, you could make an cool Assassin's Creed game here for Germany. Just put it in like in the World War II scenario, and you had like a solid like Assassin's Creed game. Actually, that could have been fairly interesting. They won't do that because they can shove in like any DEI characters, or could they? They would find a way.
We would choose a word like brave for him to write incorrectly on the scroll.
So returning back to Kazuma Hashimoto here, so you can see they have gone private just like every other person does in this situation.
And it's funny they don't have Sweet Baby Ink in there because they know if they have Sweet Baby Ink in there, that doesn't work quite as well. But they have IGN in there. Red flag.
Besides
IGN is a red flag.
Immediately private their account and go into hiding and basically weather out the storm, just like they always do, like I said. But also people are looking through their previous work and found some very interesting articles, including this absolute banger, a work of...
Hi, I wrote about Animal Crossing New Horizons, why acknowledging Japan's history of colonial rule is important to this... How do you interpret it? Interpret so much into Animal Crossing New Horizons. This game is made for kids and no one else. What are you yapping about? Why? How?
Literary genius here. Hi, I wrote about Animal Crossing New Horizons and why acknowledging Japan's history
Leave
of
my
colonial
Nintendo
rule
alone.
is important to the discussion.
Nintendo seems to try and push away Western investors, and I appreciate that. Because like thanks to that they toned down Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because like people were crying about the character designs in 2.
Obviously, it doesn't cover everything, but feel free to read. Yes, we're talking about colonialism when playing Animal Crossing. Bro is pressed over Animal Crossing.
These people are coping and seething over Animal Crossing. It ain't real, bro. It's a video game for kids. Oh god, poor Dragon's Dogma. That game got massacred as well.
Here's another banger people are talking about. How gay can you be in Dragon's Dogma 2? An investigation. Wow, that's some hard-hitting journalism right there.
That's another, like, Dragon's Dogma 1 was so good. What did you do with Dragon's Dogma 2, man? Like, oh man. This could have been great, but Capcom is, by the way, also going that route, slowly but surely. Like, they have censored stuff for, like... Was it Street Fighter? I think they've censored, like, stuff for Street Fighter. Like, the Japanese version has, like, jiggle physics for characters, and, like, the Western version doesn't.
But anyways, you get the point. a lot of people are looking at the obvious here that not only is there a lot of outrage in the West over
Let's
this
hope
game,
that the game
clearly
fails.
there's a lot of outrage,
Just
and
to show
possibly
them
even more outrage in Japan over this game.
that
and things
this
are
can no
looking
longer continue.
really, really bad for Ubisoft. Like, let's not understate how bad this looks. This game is basically on a path to destruction here. This is the really... They needed a miracle. They needed a Hail Mary with this game. Ubisoft is struggling really hard financially right now, and this is their final hope. And it's looking about as bad as anything we've ever seen. It's not just the gameplay, it's the inaccuracies, and it's also the behavior of the developers and who they're associating with. I mean, contacting Sweet Baby to defend you. That's insane. That's absolutely...
The fix would be super easy. Push the game back to 2025. Put Yasuke in a side story. Turn the main character Japanese. And you could fix this game. But they probably wouldn't do that. And yeah, and fix the other issues that are super disrespectful to the Japanese.